right, so what I've done, man, and this is going to be a little complicated because this is me. You know, like this is what I did personally starting in December. And of course, it's only so much you could put on paper. So I'll add to it if I need to add to it. But I just gave you kind of some bare basics so that we could kind of talk each section through. Then I'm going to ask Moose to come and do a couple things. And we can break this up however you want to break it up. It's a quad. So we can break it up however you want to break it up. You know, we can go back and forth on each one separately or go over all of them. But when I thought about mastery for myself, number one, to your point, Tim, I ended 2018 like, yo, E, you are not where you need to be, you know, like for real, for real. And for some of us, that could be difficult because you can look at your execution and lie to yourself about where you really are, right? And I knew it. I'm like, yo, E, you got a lot of growing to do, bro. Like you're nowhere near your potential. You have a lot of stuff that you need to work on internally, and there's a lot of things that you need to work on externally. And the boost for me, and it happens, bro, like you don't necessarily know when it's gonna happen, but Chris' death was that thing for me that was like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? So much so that, like for real, even his funeral and all that, I'm like, yo, bro, I'm good on that. Like, I'm good on that. Like, he gone. It's nothing I can do about that. But I gotta take this thing to the next level, you know? And I think it was crazy because Chris was the coach that wasn't the coach. You feel me? Like, he was my coach without, like, officially saying he was my coach. But I knew Chris was phenomenal at what he was doing because he had pulled Didi into it. That's how I knew he was sweet with it, because Didi like a gorilla. Didi like, I don't need you telling me nothing. I'm sweet. Like, and not in a cocky way. But my wife like, yo, what I do it well. I don't need coaching and all that. I don't need counseling. I don't need none of that. But I would hear Didi call Chris, like, okay, Chris, what you think I should do? And I'm like, Didi talking to Chris? Okay, what y'all, like, not what y'all talking about. I know what you're talking about. But like, she's humbling herself and saying, I need to grow to take my marriage to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Didi would be like, you need to go to counseling. Like, you need to get your stuff together, not we need to get our stuff together. You feel me? And she was right when she would tell me that. But I saw her just on her own, not AE, call Chris. Hit Chris up so we can get on the call. They had their own relationship. So I was like, ooh, and I never forget, we were in Portland, Oregon, and Didi, myself, and Chris had gone over the values. And he was walking some stuff through. And Didi had, like, we personally had, as it relates to our relationship, another phenomenal breakthrough. And we was geeked about it. Like, oh, man, phenomenal. All right, we're going to go through this. And then we're going to hit Chris when we grew. And then we was doing it, and then Chris was gone. And so that might have been like, Chris died, was it October? Did he die in October? November? September, October. Okay, so we had just went to him a couple months before that and was like, you know, we're going to take 3 months, go through this thing. We geeked. We about to tell Chris, we found the source of the argument, boy. We got it now. The values test took us to the next level. Booyah. Thanks, Chris. We owe you. And then I got to call Chris. It was weird because Preach called me. And like me and Preach, we all right, but I don't know Preach like that to be calling me about Chris. I would think CJ or somebody would call me. He was like, Chris, and he didn't even say he died. Like, he said it weird, like. And so I got off the phone like, oh, okay, maybe he's asleep or something. You know what I'm saying? You know the hookup where it's like, I know what he said, but he didn't say that. And so I called Preach back. Like, yo, Preach, what you mean when you say what you said? He's like, he dead. I said, dead? Like, dead what? Like, dead. I'm like, nah. Hung up the phone. It took about 24 hours. I still was in denial. I just saw Chris. Was it Boston? Were we in Boston? Yeah. We was in Boston. Chris took me to the back in Boston. And we chopped it up in the back. Nobody around. We went in the deep freezer. We was chopping it up. He was talking about some stuff. I was talking about Didi. You know what I'm saying? And we was chopping it up. And then boom, I got the phone call. And I was just like, okay, E, you need to go to the next level. And what did that mean for me? That meant Chris knew something about me that I was so comfortable with him teaching me because he was helping me and I didn't have to do the homework. Does that make sense? Like, he knew something about me that I needed to grow in. He had the information, I didn't, but I was comfortable with him giving me the information. Now the information dude is gone. So I'm like, I got to get the information now. Like, I got to go get certified now. Like, not to help nobody else, but I need to know what he knew about me. I need to study whoever he learned from so I can know this about myself. So I went, got certified in December. Immediately after I got certified in December, I put this quad together, and Anthony Flynn was the first person I called. It's like, yo, Ant, we need to meet. I need to, like, and y'all got to be careful. Okay, let me not say that. Josh, I have to be careful. I won't put y'all in, make it better, right? But I had to be careful that you got all this juice around you and you're not using it because you the juice. You feel me? I'm the juice. Like, not in the, y'all know me, so I wasn't being cocky or arrogant. I just was like, I'm the juice. Like, I got what I need. I can read a book. And God was like, you got juice. Use the juice. So I called Ant, like, yo, Ant, I need to go into 219 like I ain't never went in 219 before. Like, I never planned for nothing before. Like, I ain't that, the vision board. Like, I like to see people do that, but mine's is up here. I don't really be writing it down. It ain't in the basement or nothing like that. I just keep it right here. I got messed up. Malcolm was like, don't write nothing down. And I heard Malcolm say that. I ain't wrote nothing down since. You know what I'm saying? He just like, don't ever write nothing down. Like, cool. So put it right here. You feel me? But I was like, you know what, Ant, let's sit down and let's do this right. Like, I really want you to coach me. I want whatever. I need to pay you, whatever. Like, I'm not trying to, like, play. I really need this. And we sat down in December in Atlanta. He came to the hotel. I stayed at the Westin. I think I actually flew there to do that. Or, like that was, I'm not, like, waiting for, like, no week of prayer or no gig. I'm about to go down there. And so we spent a morning together, and Ant started writing some stuff down and start simplifying some stuff, right? So the first one I have in the quad that I want you to do, and like I said, we can do it now, you can do it on your own time. I'm not really, however you do it is how you do it. I just want to make sure I explain it and you understand what mastery looks like for ET. And I think at the time when I hooked up with him, I was number one, whatever you want to call it, motivational speaker, whatever in the world, right? So I wasn't going to him because my marriage was, by that time, phenomenal. Through the DISC assessment, I had figured out what I was doing wrong with my kids. You feel me? Like, I realized my daughter is not me. I'm all energy, whatever. My daughter's a C. She don't want all that energy in the beginning. I was feeling like I can't talk to her. It's like, you can talk to her. You just need to give her the information 72 hours in advance. She not Jalen. Jalen is a high I. You can come to my man 30 minutes before. He ain't really tripping. He's an extrovert. He ain't tripping. Jay, I want to go to Dallas. He like, when? In 30 minutes. He like, let me go pack. Matter of fact, let's not even pack. We'll buy some stuff when we get there. Just being real. My daughter is a C. Like, she need her stuff in order. So it wasn't that we had a bad relationship. I didn't know who I was dealing with. And so I would deal with my daughter like she was me and she not me. So I'm telling y'all, Chris had me on my church. The building we about to build a building. I mean, everything. I'm like, let's go. I need y'all to understand, I wasn't on 70 trying to get to 100. I was already on 120 trying to get to 180. You said the moon. I don't know, I don't know which is the furthest, but you said the moon, so let's go with the moon. I don't know what, I don't know all that stuff. But wherever that is, I'm trying to get to the moon. So Ant was like, okay, E, let's do this. Ant put some stuff on, and I was like, I got it. Ant was like, no, this is what Ant did for me. Ant's like, yo, E, let's simplify it. We're not doing a lot this year. We're doing impact this year. So I don't need you to do 50 things. If you're going to do 10, I need those 10 to be powerful, impactful, simplify it. These things you don't, he was like, you need a lieutenant. You don't need to be doing this. You don't need to be doing that. You don't need to be doing that. Good. All right. So the first one, when I think of a gear, I'm thinking of like, a steering wheel gear, right? Adjust and adapt something to suit a special purpose or need, right? So I just want you to think about what your gear, like what's the thing that's going to steer you this year? So here's what I use as tools to take me to that next level. All right. So of course I got Anthony Flynn on here. I had the DISC assessment, all right, which showed me what I was and showed me what the other three were. And this is long drawn out, but I love Chris to life. But because of how Chris approached it, he kind of just really focused on one aspect of it. Right? It's a whole bunch more. So when I looked at it, I didn't look at it as you're this, or that. I looked at it as here, you got to do business. You got to do relationships. You got to support other people and you have to be accurate. Right? So when I looked at it, I saw the character of God. All four is who he is, but most humans can't be all four at once. It's just not possible. So it's not that I'm this, or that. It's when I'm in these different situations, I need to be this, or this. So when I'm in a relationship, I need to be a high I, or I'm not going to have good relationships. So it's not that I need to be a gorilla 24/7, but when I'm doing business, I need to be very demanding and driving. But when I'm working with C, I need to be supportive because he's a leader. So he don't need me to try to be a leader because he's a leader. But as I looked at the company as a whole, I'm like, where the gap is the accuracy. It is when God said, let's make this on the first day and this on the second day and this on the third day. After he did that 6-day void, everything, the rest of creation could rest on those 6 days. Those 6 was so accurate and so profound and structured. And the systems, the ecosystem, everything was done in those 6 days. So if the world went another 20 million, it could go 20 million on those 6 days. Nothing else was missing after those 6 days. And God was like, yo, when you do what you do, you don't always go through the 6 days. You might do 1 day, 2, and you rush. Like your nature is you rush through stuff. So you really need to focus on this C thing where you don't need to change what you do, but the structure or the systems, the infrastructure that supports what you do, you need to take that to another level. So I didn't see it as you're this. I saw it as here are 4 elements that people are always in and out of, and I need to get thorough in all of them so that I'm not dominant. Because there's some people that can make money, but their relationships is terrible. Right? Some people got sweet relationships, but they money whack. Some people like phenomenal, but they don't have no systems, no structure. So when they start, they might be phenomenal for, like, you look at P. Diddy. I don't know what P was on, but he was on C because P said back in the day, we ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped. We bad boys for life. And he's still doing his thing. So it's like, but when you look at No Limit Soldier, they ain't necessarily doing it like that. So Diddy had a structure. He went in with A, B, C, D. When you look at No Limit, they was kind of on the money part. That's what they talked about a lot. Diddy was on all of it, right? So I was like, this, got it. I need to get certified. I need to study it. I need to understand it. Every book that's out, and it's been out since 1928. Scientific is all get out. It's been out since 1928. And there are probably, what did he say yesterday? How many different variations are there? 1,200 variations. So there are these guys from John Maxwell to you name them. What's your guy name, Ant?
Rodney Cox.
And how long has Rodney Cox been doing it?
I don't know how long.
Let's say 10 years?
Probably
20. And the group that he focuses on is?
Ministry leaders.
Good. So I'm telling y'all, this thing is, so I'm like, let's go. All right. So then there's the attributes, right? Which is deep. And I learned in the attributes, there's some things that I learned about myself, some blind spots I learned about myself in the attributes, which is phenomenal. And then the values, of course, the values was deep because then that showed me who to align myself with, right? And so then there are certain people that I realized were tools. Like I said, Anthony Flynn, right? Jamal was another person that I felt like I needed to work with. Moose and Preach kind of came in and somewhere during that time frame, I was like, yo, I'm the number 1 motivational speaker in the world and I'm making $56,000 a month. Like something wrong with that. Like I'm not a rocket scientist, but I'm number 1. I realized the systems something's wrong with the systems. Nothing wrong with the people, but the systems were off. So I got Moose and Preach just because they both were high C's. That's what the disc told me. They high C's. They're structural people. That's how they think. So Moose came in, Preach came in, made some adjustments. What are the adjustments that you made? We're going to go through this and stop questions, whatever. But I want y'all to see what has happened in my life since December. All from the tool. So I'm going to ask you, what tools are you using? Like what tools are you using to get better? Not you just self-assessing. Because C said all the time. And we really heavy on self-assessing. And I want y'all to see something. That's something that C put out a mandate. How long ago was that mandate put out, C? 3 years ago. And I'm on it, y'all. It's not C saying it for y'all. Like this is the boss. If the boss man say we focusing on self-assessing, how can I be a part of a brand and I'm not doing what he's telling us that we're supposed to be doing? So make sure your brand is in alignment. The stuff that you're saying, whatever you're saying is cool. It's your brand. We can't make up your brand for you. But make sure you're not saying it and you're not doing it. So for me, look Dan Gilbert used to say, we eat our own dog food. So I went to Ant, I went to Preach, I went to Moose. I didn't go outside the crew. I didn't have to go nowhere else to get this stuff. I went in-house and got it in-house, right? And got the information. Everything changed. And guess what I had to do? What did I have to do to go from $50,000 to most months $300,000? What did I personally have to do? That's it. Did I do anything else physically? Anybody talk to me? Did I tell you I changed my voice? I started wearing a shirt and a tie. I started doing presentations now. I got presentations up. I'm just saying, did I say I did any of that? No. I said I did what? Change the system. Yep, but what did I do first? Self-assessed. And when I self-assessed, self-assessment told me I needed to do what? Change the systems. So some of y'all going to self-assess, and it's not going to tell you to change the systems because you don't have a systems problem. But it might tell you that you might have to be more demanding in driving. It may tell you might need to be a little bit more gregarious and inspiring and enthusiastic. It might tell you that you might need to be a little bit more persistent, you know what I'm saying? And what is the other one? Complacent, right? In a positive sense, right? Does that make sense? So self-assessance first, right? So here are the other tools that I use. Professional development. I've got a young lady in my church named Ashley. She always sending me videos, just different stuff to listen to. Other personality tests, Jamal, they spelled this wrong. I hope he don't kill me. It's with an E. But Jamal and I had some heavy conversations just about, again, not necessarily doing what Maul did, but looking at myself and saying, just like you would invest in a house and you'd say, this house is worth this house is worth this, and this is for this child, this for this child. I started looking at myself and went, yo, bro, I got about 5, 6 more businesses just inside me that are like houses. If I do, based on self-assessing, if I do this right, I've got about 6 more streams of income that's not like I'm real estate. Like I'm real estate right now. I got 6 other things I can do easily without having to do no work if I just rely on a D, on another couple more I, because I'm into, what's the word, automation. So I'm not trying to do no more. But we got a conference called Verify Conference where she was like, yo, E, you need to start working with the eyes. Absolutely. I understand what I do, and I'm not the only one that can do it. Any eye that wants to do what I do, if they go through our program, they can be just as dynamic. So you see, so now I'm not even on ET no more. Now we got a conference for the D. What's that? 1%. We got a conference for the I. What's that? The Verified. Now I'm about to have 2 more next year that we're going to do for the S and the C. Why? Because when I do those conferences, that group of people are going to be able to identify with that and go, oh, that's me right there. That's how I need to make money. You see what I'm saying? Just the disc alone has created multiple streams of income and more millions. Just the disc. We're not talking about the attributes and the value. Have we hit the values and the attributes yet? People call me like, ET, we're doing businesses now. We just signed a major contract. They like, ET, we want to do the attributes. That's the attributes. The disc going to take you 2 years. Slow down. Well, how's the disc going to take us 2 years? Based on what we saw, I said, you're looking at intermetrics. They showed you the problem. We put together the solutions. They just told you you had cancer. Now we about to give you 10 treatment options. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So I looked at Intramex, they're like, they don't do that. All they tell you is you this, and then they don't really tell you the truth, right? And the reason why they don't tell you the truth because they want to limit you, so you got to keep coming back to them. We about to free you up, and you're going to learn. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm going beyond myself. All right, hired a coach, right? This is a guy named Glenn. I built a relationship with Glenn, started doing some stuff with Glenn. He's a high I. We going back and forth. He turned us on to Dave with the click funnels, which is a whole nother hookup. Tiffany, Haynes, Mustafa, and Preach, right? Here's what Einstein said. If the facts don't fit the theory, change the facts. Change the facts. Don't change the theory. Don't change the tool. So I want you to write down real quick in gear, write down for me real quick some of the tools that you can use. Good. So tools, write down right now the ones you have, that are in your sphere of influence right now are the ones you're using. You got to have tools, y'all. All the big boys. I'm working with $1 billion company right now. I'm sitting down with my man there in artificial intelligence. And when I'm sitting down with little homie, they say he the next Mark Zuckerberg. When I'm sitting down with little homie, I promise he about 32 years old. Company's worth $1 billion. It's all systems. My man sat me down for about an hour, and all he was talking about was systems. Like, he ain't making that kind of money on running his mouth. He ain't making that kind of money just coming up with stuff, on a regular basis. He has a system, and all they do every day is make sure that the systems that they have and the tools they have, that they're putting all the data in that system and doing according to whatever that says. Good. So put yourself and your business in the lab. Now I want you to write this down in gear. How much mastery are you currently doing for your industry, and how much mastery are you currently doing for yourself? And you know there's a difference between the two. And I want you to have an ongoing process where as much research that you do for your business that you're doing the same amount for yourself. You don't want your business to outgrow you. Like you don't want to get to a point where you're making $4.5 million, but if you were to do your personal value, you'd be at $400,000. Like you don't want to outgrow. You know what I'm saying? You want to put yourself in a position. That's what's going to make you a master of the game, is that you're growing as your industry is growing. You're putting just as much stock in yourself as you're putting in. Good. All right. So let's do this, because I want to talk out loud with the gear boy. Nikki, how many shirt designs did I give you in 2018? Over 50. I'm just saying, I want y'all to see I'm growing. Like, I'm not playing. I'm not just talking to be talking. I ain't write this down because I wanted to be sweet. Like, this is what I'm doing in my life. And kill me. Let's break it down. I'm like, simplify. Bro, I got 50. You trying to kill my ideas. You trying to hurt me. I got stuff just flowing, bro. He was like, okay, let it flow. But one a month. You know what I'm saying? One a quarter. Let it flow. You can let it flow. Ain't nobody telling you to stop the flow. Write it down. Get it out. Send them to Nikki. Tell her put it in the vault somewhere. But we're not going to sell 50 shirts. You know how much money it costs for you to do all those shirts? You understand how much time that takes? Just do one, and if they like it, let it sell out. How the 2000, hey, y'all, I don't know if y'all saw it, but watch the simplification here. This is D, making up a word. Watch this. 2019 goals. Execute, 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 execution. How many out in the world right now? You feel me? You feel me? But and even with the shirt, I don't got a whole bunch of, when you want to succeed, as bad as you want to breathe, it wasn't even enough room. Then you'll be successful. It wasn't even enough room on the front of the shirt for that boy. You know what I'm saying? Be phenomenal, be forgotten. We had to put a thing on it so you could read to see what it was. Now just execute, 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 execute. And what is that doing? That's even helping those who follow us to do better, because now they don't have to deal with ET being all over the place. Are you hearing me? Because they following me, and if I'm all over the place, they over the place. Now the sheep like, oh, look like we simplifying this year.